Okay.
You know what?
It's game time.
Levels, check, check. Yeah, one, two.
Check 1, 2. All right, here we go on another episode of the Party Invite Show. But things are a little bit different this time. We are recording from the past.
Ooh,
This is our
time
first
travel.
week. Yeah, it's our first week recording a little differently. We have a big change in our schedules, our personal schedules. So, we're making a transition towards recording beforehand instead of recording live on Twitch each Thursday. But don't worry. If you want to see the premiere of this episode, it'll happen on Thursdays on Twitch in our normal time. What is it, 7 p.m. Central?
Yeah.
And everything else will go up as on our new schedule on Fridays on Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. So that's exciting. So this is our very first time recording in this new format, and hopefully it opens us up to be able to try a lot of new things here on the show. But the biggest change you'll see in the actual show itself is maybe shorter episodes. This week's episode is going to be what we've been playing. But instead of our usual talking about all sorts of games we've been playing, we're each only going to pick one game, talk about it, and that'll be a wrap for now. I know we play a lot of games where normally we have to squeeze 2 or even 3 games in a piece. We're gonna try to get away from that for now, but we're gonna be sure to record plenty of extra content to cover everything we've been playing. So let's start off with good old Blissen Up. Let's loosen up a little bit and talk about something that made us smile this week. I'll start here. We're recording on a Sunday. I just went on a very wet hike, about 8 miles, longer than I expected. It was great to be outside, even if it was rainy. Some people would say there's no such thing as a bad hike, just bad clothing, and we had the right clothing, so it was a good hike. We did that. It was cold, and then we went and got some warm food. I was looking forward to hot soup all day, and y'all, that soup was hot. It was just okay soup, but it was hot soup, and that's exactly what I wanted. So it's a good day. And the beauty about hiking early in the morning, like starting early, is that you still have an entire day afterwards. It's incredible. It's incredible.
That
Uh,
sounds awesome.
it's great. I don't do it enough. We got behind on our schedule a little bit, but we're trying to get back up on that horse. Yeah, it was funny. The place we hiked is only 40 minutes out of Seattle, but you're in the mountains, and it was a totally different climate than like when we got back and stepped out of the car here in the city. It's it's like 10 degrees warmer probably and totally dry. It's weird how different the weather is just in less than an hour away. But yeah, that was good for me. How about you, Vilos? I see you got something loaded up on the screen behind you.
Yeah. My blessing up for this week is that well, we're gonna get into a little bit of the Nintendo Direct that dropped, but in the future here. But on
In
that
the future,
Direct
you mean
was,
next week? Wink.
you know what?
Yes, like so
I
next, like so the
listen.
future.
I am stuck in between parts of time. I have no idea what's going on.
I don't know
Are
what
you
But
day it
even the
is.
yes,
real Vilos? Is this
there's no real way to tell.
That's
You can ask
paradox?
me any questions, I'll probably know it. The evil me will probably know it too.
The
Um,
evil you has no facial hair, right? That's how we tell you guys apart.
I've heard that one a few times actually. Um, but there was a demo dropped for my most anticipated game, and as you said, behind me is Unicorn Overlord. This is the next great game, period. And yes, I know Final Fantasy Rebirth is literally in days, but a few days after that is Unicorn Overlord, and this is a 7 hour timed demo
Wow.
that your save will transfer to the final game.
Wow.
And technically, according to the whole internet, because the whole Nintendo internet is playing this, people are getting their mileage out of it. Like, you can basically delete your save and then try the timer over again. And people are basically trying to speed run as much of the game as they can to see how far they can get,
Wow.
because it's basically the game. And so far I haven't put in hours of it yet. I've only gotten like 30 minutes or so into it. But just like Triangle Strategy, it's really exciting in the narrative. The visuals are gorgeous. It's a weird Fire Emblem like. Definitely got a lot of similarities to several strategy games, but it's different in a lot of other ways. It looks to be probably the deepest game of 2024, and I'm very excited.
The deepest game of 20, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good claim to make because, like, even though people are really highly anticipating, the Final Fantasy Rebirth, blah blah blah, we still know what to expect from that game. It's not a particularly deep game. It's not like changing the story in any like groundbreaking ways or anything like that. It's still Final Fantasy VII. You know what I mean? And while that story is particularly moving, especially if you grew up with it, right? It's nothing new really, and I wouldn't say that just because it's like one of the most gorgeous like games or whatever that's coming out and one of the most highly anticipated that it's going to be the deepest or whatever, because it's still the same game. It's just there might be some minor tweaks to some story elements or anything, but I don't think it's going to get any deeper than it already has really. So I don't think that's an outlandish claim at all.
Yeah, and I mean the thing with Unicorn Overlord is that the entire strategy part of it is that you take groups of your army, and you've created those groups. You've gone through different battles with these different characters. There are over 60 unique characters in this game, and the entire purpose of these battles is that it's kind of an auto battle system once you get that group together. So you create that group, you raise them however you're going to raise them experience wise, and use their different jobs and stuff like that, their different classes that they have. And so literally every battle is kind of unique, and since it auto battles based on like the RNG of everything going on in the background, that's where the depth comes in. And it has been confirmed that there is a marriage sort of system, as well as relationships that make all these buffs and stuff happen. So like, I know, Tegan, it's not technically your realm, but this is like Darkest Dungeon on massive drugs.
That's what I had in my head. That's the exact picture. I
Yeah.
mean, in Darkest Dungeon 2, you could be amorous with somebody, and you get all sorts of great buffs. So,
Well, I mean, we know what amorous means.
And there
They
are
be exploring
definitely
the dungeons, all right.
there are definitely some perks that people have already seen some hints in this demo of. And I mean, I found a YouTuber that I subscribe to, and he's already made like 12 to 15 videos on this demo alone. It's wild. So deep
Content.
is just like the word for this game. I can't wait. And it comes out March 8th.
Is there going to be a sort of a descendancy sort of thing? Like, because you said it's like very Fire Emblem like, and I remember I think it was Fates. No, not Fates. Awakening that introduced.
It was Awakening, yeah.
Yeah, that introduced like.
It hasn't been
similar
confirmed
systems
that there
and
are kids yet. And it hasn't been confirmed that, because I don't know that there's time skips. Every Fire Emblem has a time skip, but
Is that
I
where
haven't
you?
seen
Is
that
that
yet
why
in Unicorn Overlord.
you don't know which day it is? You don't know which week it is because you're living in a
Yes.
time skip.
He's a Fire Emblem character.
Yes.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense
Obviously,
now.
yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
adding
I
up.
might actually be a Marth. I haven't taken the name as my mantle officially, but maybe
Okay, well, let's
I'm
not
a
go too
Marth.
far.
Wow. We're gonna have words.
You're definitely. I would say you're like a Hector. Or what's
Okay,
his name?
I can take that.
Yeah, you're a Hector. You do Hector, or like Frederick.
The loyal knight that's a lancer. Yeah.
Yeah, and also glasses.
I can
So.
vibe with that.
Yeah.
You seem more of
That's
a.
it. It's just glasses.
You seem like more of a Mike Truck to me.
No.
We had the discussion a while ago. That Japanese baseball game where they were.
Oh
were
my
like,
God,
These are
okay. I was
definitely
like-
real American names, like Mike Truck.
And what was his name? Sleeve McDykel.
Just lots of gyms in there.
Oh my goodness.
So you've been playing Unicorn Overlord. I'm excited to hear more about that after the demo comes out as well. Exciting. So it's a free demo. I mean, demos don't tend to cost anything.
Yeah, it dropped directly after the partner direct the other day, and all the Nintendo faithful are all over it.
Sweet. Sounds like fun. Of course, I saw Unicorn Overlord and I was like, is this like a cousin of Ogre Tactics? Where I'm like,
A very
there's a
far
fantasy
cousin,
name, there's like a fantasy character in there, and I'm not sure what the rest is about. It's an RPG. Yeah, they're probably related.
Well, like what's funny to me is that Unicorn Overlord has like the same mouth feel as Omicron Persei, right? And so every time I hear like Unicorn Overlord, I just want to say like 8. Like
Well, Sid, how about you? You got something on here, yeah?
I do. Speaking of Nintendo faithful, which I like, by the way, I'm going to start using that because I don't like the term, like, fanboy, fangirl, all that whatnot, because, like, I'm not throwing myself at their feet. I hold them accountable and critical of all their things and things like that. They can't not do no wrong. I think I said that correctly. But, okay, cool. Yeah, Side Order has come out, and it has sent the internet in a tizzy on Twitter. There's a bunch of fan art coming out. There's a bunch of clips coming out. I have not touched it yet. And people in my community, the Sovereignty, have been like foaming at the mouth, just like, you need to play Side Order. What are you doing? Why haven't you played this yet? And they're even more frustrated because I won't let them talk about it in my chat because I'm going completely blind. I haven't done any research. I mean, I've seen like fan art and stuff, but I don't know what it means, right? And the only thing I've seen about it was like the initial announcement that they had when they were like, oh yeah, Side Order is coming out and here's like our first look. And it just showed you, oh yeah, you're going through, it's like a roguelike and you have palette color chips and they do something, but we don't know yet. But since then they've released different trailers that do like deep dives and stuff into it, which I've ignored. So I'm going to be pretty much completely blind, and chat hates it. They're just like, they've been playing so much of it. And they're just like, they want to talk about it with me. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I can't.
But you're telling us exactly when you're going to start that. Yeah.
Well, I did have plans. But plans are plans, and they either are executed and or they're not. This is why I don't schedule
no date
anything.
yet.
So no actual date yet. But I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, it's the best way to find out when and what I'm streaming. Like I say all the time at the end of every one of my streams, because I don't like making set schedules because things happen. And if you set expectations and then the expectations aren't met, not a lot of people are happy. So, yeah, I will play it this week. I know that much. How about that? This week.
That's a real.
That's better.
The people who hear this podcast go live in like 2 weeks are gonna love this. They're gonna be like, wait, this week or that? Wait, which? Oh no. Oh no.
Well, apparently, since it's a roguelike, this is what I do know a little bit of some information. It functions kind of like Hades, in that, you know how in the end game of Hades you can use the dark gems or whatever to augment how difficult your heats are. You can do that in Side Order. So it's like very roguelike. Tegan, I'm actually really interested on your in your perspective once you see me playing this, because you are like roguelite the guy as well. Like roguelite and like the guy. So like whenever a new one comes out, I'm just like, Tegan, what do you think? You know what I mean? And Bowser's been playing, speaking of Balatro, which is a poker roguelike. I don't understand how that
Balatro.
works.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah, it's a
remember
card
the
game. Yeah.
demo. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So I want your opinion on that as well sometime soon.
I tell you what, I bet we can convince Odysseus to play it, because I've watched a couple card game roguelikes, like traditional card game, like poker ones, and they haven't really stuck with me. But I think that's the same reason that I'm not that interested in just playing like regular poker online.
Well, this is far from regular poker. It's like poker with like collectible cards that augment your point values, and then there are a bunch of jokers in there that are passive, like artifacts from Slay the Spire. So yeah, it's really intriguing the way that they've changed up the poker formula, because first of all, it's poker. How do you make that interesting if you're not already into poker? So I mean, no offense to poker players out there. I mean, Bowser himself is a poker dealer, so I know the realm. I'm in it somewhat. So I just wondered how they were going to take that and gamify it even more than what poker already is. And so far, from what I've seen, it's intriguing. Not intriguing enough for me to play, but I'll definitely watch Odie play it.
Yep, that's where I'm at. I've had a few people send me games over the past few weeks, and I'm like, or they're like, oh, this looks awesome. You know, is this something you're gonna play? And each time I've been like, well, no, I'm definitely not going to play this. But I
I'll
know
play it this week.
exactly
No.
the person I'm going to try to convince to play this. And it's been fun. Whether it's like a game like you just described where I'm like, Odysseus, I need your help. Or somebody, my partner sent me a Steam link for Pacific Drive, which is a survival driving game set in the Pacific Northwest. And I immediately sent that to the DOS Bros, my cousins in our community, where I was like, survival game, cars, say no more. The only thing it's missing is co-op. But I mentioned that to Hot Rod, and he bought the game that day.
Wow.
So, but it is
We're
really
influencers. Look at us.
oh, it's very exciting to be able to spot something and be like, oh, I know exactly who's gonna love this, you know, and having a shot at actually having them pick it up so I can watch. Because I'm not trying to play every game. Like, I like a wide variety of games. Each of us does, but it's nice when you can hand like the perfect gift to the person who's going to like it the most. But then the joy of streaming is that you get to share that with them. It's not just that they love the game, it's that you can experience that together. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. So I don't know if the poker game's for me, but absolutely, games like that are really interesting. It's nice to be able to have people to send that to, because I would like to see that in action.
Yay.
So
Well, I do have something else listed here too, and then it's the reason why I haven't been playing Side Order, and that is because I have been no-lifing Foamstars.
yeah.
And recently, and I'll be talking about this later on in the podcast.
Or why not? Why not right now?
Okay,
Let's do
yeah,
it.
I think it's a perfect segue. It's
Hey.
a perfect segue. So I've been playing a lot of Foamstars recently, and I just the other day it was a 12-hour stream, and then the day before that it was another like 13-hour stream. Although part of that stream was for the gigantic beta that launched over the weekend. And let me tell you what, it was so fun to jump back into that game, but that's neither here nor there. But the grind, I was just grinding out one tier, the penultimate tier, to get to the Party Legends, which is the highest rank in the game. And you know how I am about my rankings. Vilos, you were making a joke about it earlier about how I like to like platinum every rank or whatever in every competitive game I play. And I'm just like, I mean, if I'm going to play the game, I might as well. I mean, I feel the same way about Overwatch too. Like, I love playing with my friends, but if I'm going to play, I might as well like I like working towards something, right? And I don't know. But I finally reached it. The highest rank in the game, Party Legends, and I've been focusing a lot of energy on getting that done. It was very physically, mentally, emotionally taxing, and the footage from my very last round before reaching that rank will be, if you're watching right now, will be, going so you can see how that journey ended. But oh my gosh, let me tell you what, it was something. I mean, I know video games are just video games, but like this is kind of like when I was into DKO and Pokemon Unite, when you invest so much of your actual self into a goal that you're trying to like accomplish in the game, it becomes almost personal. It's like a piece of the game is like living in you now. Like, I feel like I'm an actual film star, right? Like, I better be in the game in the next season when it comes out in March. But before, like, once I reached Party Legends, I was like, before that, I was like, once I get there, I'm just gonna stop. I wanted the ability to say, hey, I was one of the first Party Legends in the game, and that way I can establish, like, that was the important stake I was trying to claim after the game comes out, because I try to do that in a lot of niche interests. Like when Knockout City came out, I was the first person to 100% all the achievements in that game. I also predicted
you were
like
the
3 of their
first
next
person.
season. The first person.
Wow. I'm not sure I totally understood that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
the
really
first,
cool.
The first person, like ever to 100% all the achievements, and I kept track in Discord too. Like, and I kept track on Steam achievement like tracker or whatever. I used all the stops to make sure I could officially claim that. When DKO came out, I was the first level 20, which is the max level of a character that you could be, golden Izanami player in the whole world. I was the first that. Which I was acknowledged by one of the creators of the game online. Oh my gosh, congratulations. This is the truth. Behold, I can actually go physically find that tweet. And, if anyone like calls me out on it, cause I still have my, my alias, my server alias in that server to first gold Isa. So if anyone calls me out, I got bam, command right there, tweet. So now in Foamstars, I can say I was one of the first party legends of the game. And whenever I stream that from now on, I can carry that weight with me. You know, if people are new to the game, they want to learn ask questions and stuff and learn about it. I am a notable source of information because I put so much time and effort into not only learning the game but playing the game for as long as I have. And I just want to be like another beacon and pillar of like that community because first of all, I love this game. It's one of those games that's like you said, Tegan, like the perfect fit for me. A lot of people when they saw this, they reached out to me like via DMs and like, have you seen Foamstars? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like Splatoon but with like stylish, colorful K-pop people. And
oh yeah, like, I only need to see like literally 1 second of this to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I know the person.
So it was something with that with which I congealed very heavily, and I'm glad that I was able to do that. And so to come back full circle and finish my statement, my original point was that once I reached Party Legend, I was like, I'm going to stop and say that I was like one of the first Party Legends. But then I found out after reaching Party Legend that I was like number 111th in the world, because all of the ranks are like they're global, so you could switch servers and continue to play on like Japan or in Europe or somewhere, and your rank will go with you. So all of the rankings are global. And I was like, well, there is a top 100 portrait for player cards.
Gotta get it.
Let me see what I can do. And so I kind of played a little bit more of that. And the results haven't been announced yet, but before the servers went down earlier today, I managed to get 200. What did I stop at? I stopped at an RP, which is my rating points, higher than I started with. And so I'm hoping I broke the threshold. I won't know until the game updates or I launch the game for the next time and see if I got the portrait or what my ranks were, because that was for the solo mode, so like solo ranked mode. Now, starting whenever they start it, but before the next season, it's going to be the group party mode, tribe vibe, which is what is called that. And you can unlock, or you can rank up with like your group. You can party up in group, because beforehand you had to solo queue. You were forced to solo queue. It was only solos. Now you can like party. Yeah. It was a lot of people were mad that you couldn't group up with your friends, but then know they did like the exploit where queue up at the same time. Yeah, because
it's such a goofy way. Yeah, we did that in Karmazu. And it worked, and that's great, but you don't want that to be your only option.
I hope you still get to actually keep the rank, though.
What do you mean?
Like the number that you've gotten to right now.
Oh yeah, so that was my solo rank. My tribe vibe won't affect that at all. That's a whole separate rank. So right now I'm unranked in that because as of this recording, that's not been released yet. However, I did play in a tournament over the weekend, a Glorious Party tournament that was like actually thrown by Foamstars. It was one of the first community tournaments that they've run, an official sanctioned tournament. I was in the second qualifiers for that one. There was 2 weeks ago, there was the first one. And we only made it to the quarterfinals, unfortunately, because I totally threw. And you know what? I'm a mature enough player to admit that. I will learn from my mistakes in the next community day tournament they throw. I'm going to be better. But all that to say is I have a static group of people that I can count on to play with me in the tribe by mode. And I'm really excited about that because I didn't want to have to pick up group and randomly try to mesh with people or solo queue into a group mode, which I do in Splatoon all the time, right? But it's more fun and it's better if you have someone to communicate with and play with who just, how you already know that you mesh well, you know what characters you play, you know your strategies and things like that. It's just
an
more
effort
fun.
Level.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the reason I haven't been playing side orders, because I've been investing so much time into Foamstars. And it's been fun, but it's also been taxing. I'm glad that I'll have a period of rest in order to kind of recuperate and recover all of the energy I've lost by investing into that game, because it was a lot.
Yeah, no doubt.
I almost want to say it was unhealthy.
I'll say it was unhealthy.
He'll do it.
Okay, Mr. 50 Stacks over there. I see you. But it was a good time. I had a good time. I don't think I wasted any time because it was a learning experience, and I made a bunch of friends and I made a stake in the community, which I consider an important community that I want to be a part of. So, yeah, I'm just really excited that I'll be able to get back to Splatoon and finish out the catalog and try the new DLC because I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Off the Hook, Marina and Pearl come back, and I'm so excited.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Foamstars. Foamstars? Foamstars.
Foamstars.
Oh, you know what? I
Foamstars.
I actually misspelled it on the video. So oopsie, anybody who knows how to read. So that is Foamstars. Definitely Foamstars. Hell yeah. So people can go watch you play that game and other games on your Twitch at twitch.tv/obsidianite.
Yas.
Awesome. Yeah, this is like the most Sid game. So I'm excited to watch you. It's funny when I see you play this or I watch footage, it's kind of like Dead by Daylight, where I never really care what the objective is. I just like seeing people run around. Which in a game like this is perfect because you're like, you're like surfboarding around basically. So I'm happy. But I'm excited to watch you play some more. But take that break if you need it. It's burnout on a game like this is real. That's why I stopped trying to be good at games,
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm burnt out on it. Like, probably after we're done, recording our live in real time episodes, I'm probably gonna hop back in there and, because, and play some more. Like, just pubbing around, practicing characters and stuff. Because there's a large roster and people tend to like auto lock. It's like the Overwatch problem, right? People tend to run trick and then auto lock, and I don't want to be that person who is caught without a character they don't know how to play because everyone's chosen the characters that I do play, right?
Yep.
So during my downtime when I'm not grinding and trying to be try hard professional gamer, I'm just gonna play around in the fun modes and try new characters and new builds and stuff. And that's how I will decompress from that game, is by playing that game.
Heck yeah.
Like a pro gamer.
Like a pro gamer.
I'm a real gamer. Yeah.
Well, hell yeah. Well, let's see. So I'll do mine first, just because it's a slightly smoother transition from this into mine than from Vilos's. I have been playing some Helldivers 2. Y'all, this game is fun. We've been playing this game with our community. Let me see if I can get this this video footage up on here. The game's great. Very poorly optimized. Every time I tried to record footage for it, it was just an absolute disaster. But the game is so much fun. So Helldivers 1 was a twin-stick shooter from the Xbox 360 era. And I played it years after it came out. It was cool. You're firing huge weapons and bringing down big explosives from above, just like in this game.
And it was isometric, right? Like top-down?
Yep, it was isometric. And it seemed like a good game. I probably put like 10 hours into it or so, but I was playing by myself, and I got to a certain point where I realized that if I didn't have a squad, most of the fun that was going to happen between the beginning and mid game wasn't actually going to be that great. Because it was the kind of thing I would matchmake in, and you could tell I was playing with people who were like, hundreds of hours into the game. Like they were the only other people still playing. And if you know me well, you know that I don't love being walked through a game. I want to struggle. I want to discover stuff on my own, and matchmaking with a bunch of randos just doesn't create the experience that I'm looking for at all from games like these. So I put down Helldivers 1, even though I liked it, because I didn't have a crew. So Helldivers 2 got announced a while ago. I completely forgot about it. And then last week, when it was just a couple days from coming out, early reviews, the embargo went up or whatever, and the early reviews were promising. And I watched some footage, and we picked that bad boy up day one. We've been playing with a full squad, so this is the same general premise of Helldivers 1, except now it is a third-person shooter. You can aim down your sights, depending on the weapon you have. But this is a game that's just all about explosions, calling down, weapons for you to use or resupplies and stuff, but also airstrikes and orbital bombardments. So you're fighting against giant bugs, also giant robots. They're like, the robots have tanks and stuff, but the bugs just have like massive boss bugs that come after you and do all sorts of things. But you land on the planet. You choose what your stratagems are going to be, and you use those to just absolutely go nuts on all these enemies. You call down airstrikes to blow up certain buildings. Sometimes you do an escort mission where you need to protect some humans from the like literally endless amount of enemies that will continue to spawn in until you've beaten the map, which makes it a very failable type of mission, because if you fall behind at the beginning, I mean, you're gonna have 100 enemies chasing you, which is insane. That's so many enemies. But the enemies in this game are interesting. They're all, I said bugs and robots, but they all have different enough ways that they attack you that it feels arcadey but not goofy. Well, not goofy in a bad way. The whole sense of humor of the game is goofy. It's Starship Troopers. It's the over-the-top, fighting for democracy. When you call in a respawn, like your characters don't respawn, they just die. And then you call in another soldier, and now you control that soldier. And so, like, I called in a soldier, and my new one, she goes, democracy has arrived.
Oh, no.
It's stuff like that that's just, like, so over the top and silly. This very, like, satirical pro-democracy thing. You're fighting for Super Earth, but you're fighting on all these other planets and stuff. So it's just got this great sense of humor. You can crouch and go prone, but my favorite is if you hit the Alt button on PC, your character does like a totally horizontal dive. Will just completely go straight and jump whichever direction you're aiming. So if an enemy is running up on you, you can dive backwards and shoot while you're in the air. It feels so cool.
It's very much like it's really like the Max Payne dive, except in full speed. Like, yep. It's ridiculous.
It feels so good. And then the way that you call in your strikes, I'm playing on the video here, is you press some buttons and you have a little like grenade looking thing that you throw. And then wherever you throw that is where the thing you call down is going to land. So they're called stratagems. And the way it works is you hold, on PC, you hold the control button, and then you put in a code, basically, like left, down, right, up, left. We'll call in, a certain type of airstrike or something. And it'll be the same one for whatever that airstrike is. It'll be the same every single time. But it feels, it's got that element of Hacker Man that I kind of like, where you're sitting there, you're in the heat of battle, and you're like, oh, God, what's the code? What's the code? Beep, boop, beep, beep. Oh, I messed it up. I got to start over. Beep, boop, beep, beep. Okay, I got it.
That is so Magica.
It is. It really is. It is just like Magica. I compared it to that when we first played it because it's so easy to goof up. When you do it well, it feels good. But the intentional slight clunkiness of it is charming. Like, it is a feature, not a bug. A funny thing that can happen, though, is explosions in this game will knock you off your feet. Sometimes they'll just knock you over. Other times they will full-blown fling you across the map, especially if you have resistance to explosives. So you'll survive an explosion, but you will go flying. I had pulled out a stratagem to call down a big airstrike. I've upgraded my airstrikes to arrive more quickly, because usually you have to like beep, boop, beep, beep, and then you throw it, and there's a time from when it hits the ground till when the explosion appears. And I have my stuff upgraded so that the explosions come even quicker than usual. And so I had this thing, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to throw my... And I get knocked off my feet, and this thing hits the ground right next to me, and I'm just like, oh, run, everybody run. And stuff comes down, and we probably didn't all walk away from it. But it's just so much fun with the chaos of it. Like, dying isn't really a big deal. It's just going to happen. But it's really funny when it happens in just a spectacular, explosive way. This is a group to play with a squad. Of course, we've got one in our Discord, which you can find through our socials. But this game has just tickled me. I read someone else said that they hadn't played a game that felt fun and arcade co-op-y like this since the Xbox 360 era. And I can't put my finger on quite why that is, but I totally agree with that. I really feel there is something special about this game that just doesn't feel like other modern co-op games I've played. There are a lot of things it has in common. I mean, it might just be the way that stuff works, the way that Magica works, that we've talked about before, because that game doesn't work like any other game I've ever played. But there's really something special here. For the first weekend, we had to wait 2 hours to get in because the servers were so full. So they've expanded the servers. They've also given a 15-minute timer until they kick people off the server to make room. But it's all good. But I just have really good things to say about this game. It's full release 1.0. I hope they use the massive influx of money from being such a critical success to keep updating this game, because this is exactly the kind of chaotic, it's the kind of chaos that I could come back to after not playing for 3, 6, 12 months and immediately drop back in and be ready to go again. A lot like Deep Rock Galactic. So I just have nothing but good things to say about this, except it's poorly optimized. So even on my very powerful video card, this thing gets crunchy audio on max settings when I try to run any other program. But when there are lots of other explosions and stuff, whoo boy, it doesn't like it. It does not like it one bit. So I'm sure that'll get fixed. That's totally a solvable problem. But everything else is good. The feedback loop of the maps is good. The way that you unlock stuff is good. You can pay money for a battle pass, but the currency that you use to unlock the battle pass can also be unlocked just by playing the game, which I love.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So I already bought a premium item using just currency I found in the maps. Like, you only get a little currency each time, but it's not nothing. It's not the kind of thing where you have to play for 20 hours to get like $1 worth of currency. It's good. There's just a lot of stuff going on here that they're going to have a strong foundation of loyal players based on what I've experienced. And that just bodes really well for something like this. Though, based on the servers being so full, I don't think the devs expected this to be so successful right off the bat. So yeah, it's just fun to be a part of it. The internet is full of videos of shenanigans from this right now, and I'm sure I'll have more of that to come. But Helldivers 2, big fan. Big fan. I bought it for $40 on Steam. Absolutely $40 well spent. That's about as much as I want to pay for a new game, and this is exactly what I wanted from it. So yeah, you'll hear me talk about that in the future, but anyone who wants to come play that, come check it out. Best with a squad, and if you don't have a squad, come join us on our Discord. So cool. That's my one game for this week.
Yeah, it's very Smash TV, like that kind of sort of like
all
over
the
the top.
spectacle.
Yeah, and the humor too. Like, it's very tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
I think it took a lot of the Warhammer fans that didn't want the seriousness of Warhammer, and they just ran with it. So.
Yeah, yeah, because it's not grimdark, right? It's just goofy political satire and all this. Yeah, it's good stuff. I can't wait to play more of this. A funny thing, just before I leave here, on our first session, we played on I think the difficulties are like trivial, non-trivial, easy, medium, and then other stuff. I can't remember. I think I have that right, but I could be wrong. We've played a lot of games. We played 2 or 3 missions, and we said, you know what? Let's bump it all the way up to medium. That was a mistake. That was a huge mistake. We got whooped. We got so whooped. I wish I had video of at one point, we were playing that mission where enemies endlessly spawn just forever until you complete the objective. But there were too many enemies to do the objective. We couldn't reach it. So at one point, we're all just like running around the base in circles, just trying to escape from the tsunami of bad guys. And we're like, okay, you know what? Let's just run straight into the middle of the base. Maybe, maybe we can find the objective in time. And I'm in front of everybody, and I crest this hill, and I'm looking at like 50 enemies. Like, I didn't even know this game could spawn that many at the same time. And I crest the hill, and I'm just like, not that way, not that way. And I turn around and I run, and I hear Fuzzy, and he's like, wait, what? Isn't the objective this? Oh, everybody back. But just solid stuff, y'all. Yeah, this is going to be one I'm going to be playing throughout the whole year. It's February now? Yeah. I bet even as far out as December, I could see this on my short list. So Helldivers 2. Okay, Vilos, let's bounce over to you. This is a complete 180 as far as vibes
Yeah.
go. But I think that's the way we need to end this episode because a little to the left is
Yes.
a sight to behold.
Yeah, a little to the left is a game that right when it released, it was on my radar. I really wanted to grab it, but I actually didn't grab it until it was discounted a little bit earlier this year. It's if you're seeing this on video, you're seeing cozy, you're seeing colorful, and you are seeing a very simple puzzle game. That's really all it is. That said, the developers are Max Inferno. It's actually just a couple people that like to do some really creative things, and the main programmer likes to have that element of interactivity. So it's Annie McMillan and Lucas Steinman that make up Max Inferno, and one of them is all about the art. The other is all about the programming, and it's a really great little first game sort of situation here. You are really just trying to organize things. Of course, that's a genre in itself. For those of you that have played Unpacked, you'll know that I love Unpacked, and it's got some very similar vibes here. The puzzles are kind of all over the place. I will say that. There are something like 75 plus puzzles in this game, and the quote unquote single player campaign just takes a couple hours to get through, 3 or 4 hours max. But there's even a cool little daily puzzle situation that you can log into, and if you have it on Steam or something like that, you can actually get an achievement for logging in, I think 30 straight days or something like that. I know a couple people that do that. But for me, it was just an opportunity to number one, get a short game completion, because that's what I do. But also just have that cozy game that I can jump back to for 20, 30 minutes at a time, and not really have to stress about anything. It's a very cutesy game, but at the same time, there are some hurdles to this game. You'll find yourself putting books in order, or putting seashells in order, or these different items. If you're seeing the video, or if you're showing the video, it's cleaning supplies that go together in a certain fashion. The one thing there that doesn't help is that it is missing some quality of life things that some other games in this genre have put in. For example, here, really the only way that you know something is in the right spot is if you hear a little jingle sort of noise. Except on Switch, at least, it doesn't work all the time.
Oh no.
Oh.
So like you can be moving things around and nothing will happen. So there's not enough feedback there. And sometimes, I looked at Steam reviews, I looked at reviews all over for this, and it's generally favorable reviews for this game, and I love this game, but I always have to make it obvious when there's a situation that's a little lesser. So some of the solutions are very obtuse, like extremely obtuse. A lot of the puzzles have to do with symmetry, which in and of itself, it's like, okay, that's an organizing thing, right? If I've got OCD brain, I'm going to know I want to make things symmetrical. But there are a couple levels, and I think a couple of the screenshots that I've got have it. One of them has seashells, one of them has like leaves and stuff. The game kind of leaves a couple solutions open-ended, but at the same time, it leaves the actual confirmation completely up in the air. You can think that you did everything right. You can make things as symmetrical as you think that they can be visually, And then it comes down to, okay, I've spent 20 minutes at this puzzle. I have everything symmetrical in my view, to the point where you have to just start moving items to see what happens. Because not
Just
only
a little
is
to
that
the
little...
left.
Yeah, literally. And I know it's a thematic thing, but at the same time, it's like, this is pissing me off now. Because on these particular puzzles that require the symmetry, if you move something just right, it will kind of latch into a spot. And it's like, okay, it latched into the spot, and the other side one will actually make it self-symmetrical. But it's very minute changes. But then the actual solution doesn't come, and you're just sitting there like, why though? There were a couple puzzles, again, out of 75 plus, to complete the game. There were a couple of them that I was like, okay, I'm looking at this entire screen. Nothing is out of place here. So what do I do next? And it would require you just picking something up, letting it go. Picking the next thing up, letting it go. Pick up the next thing, let it go.
No.
Pick up the next thing, let it go. And just seeing what changes. And then eventually it's like, bring. And the little screen comes up and it's solved. And you're like, but I didn't even do anything. And so, like, there's some really fantastic puzzles in there. Like the cleaning supplies one I liked. And then there are a few that just, no. There is a hint system for every single puzzle. That said, it's not a step hint. So, as someone extremely familiar with escape games, you don't want a puzzle that only has one hint, because if that one hint doesn't work, then what are you going to do?
Right.
And there are the symmetry puzzles. The one hint is really funny because they actually made the one hint the same across every one of the symmetry puzzles. It literally looks no different. So the shells puzzle and the leaves puzzle, the hint is exactly the same, and it's not helpful in the slightest.
What? Move it a
But
little
it is
to the left?
symmetrical.
Yeah, it is both symmetrical, and you do need to move things slightly left. But yeah, it's a very interesting game. It's very cute. The music is understated, but it's good. What's there? It does bring in, every few puzzles brings in a cat paw to screw up what you're doing, which is kind of funny. But it didn't really do a whole lot in these puzzles. I think there's newly released DLC, so I think the DLC is probably going to have a little bit more of that involved. But it is really funny to see the cat paw, like it slowly creeps in and then moves something very slightly, and you just hear the meow, and before or after it happens, and you're just like, oh my god, and then you just have to move it right back. So it's got a lot going for it, but there's no instructions outside of the hint. The single hint that each puzzle has, it doesn't tell you anything. It just hopes that you keep playing. Thankfully, the game is overall good enough.
Yay.
And mostly it's there for, I'm there for the art, I'm there for the music, and I'm there for the vibes, which thankfully it does have all those in spades.
The cat thing kind of reminds me of when Bowser was putting together one of those QR code puzzles. The ones that you solve, and you can win anywhere between $1 and $1 million in different increments. So there's like 100, 500, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing that in the living room, pieces strewn about all over the table. And if you are familiar with these puzzles, they are on blue background, and the QR code itself is like with the black, but then there's like a gradient of rainbow, and the scale of gradient all is like at a certain degree angle, so they can have some kind of orientation to go by when you're putting the pieces together, right? But other than that, it's pretty disorienting putting together, because QR codes are already like,
Yeah, they make no sense.
they make
Right.
no sense. And anyway, he was doing that, and then Harlow would always watch him, always. And every so often, she would just be like, and he'd be like, no, and she'd be like,
I'll come
but
back.
what if I did? Like, you look like you need some help.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And eventually, bap.
So like the cat screwing with your puzzles right there. And that game is very relatable and very real. It happens in real life
Yep. Anybody who's ever done a jigsaw puzzle at home, they know.
with cats.
Exactly. And the game is I think it's $20 is the starting point. It's very often $15 to $17 on sale. And the DLC called Cupboards and Drawers just came out a few months ago. I think there's a full update, and it's $6 normally. It's on sale for about $5 pretty often as well. So there's definitely a lot of game there. And again, for those of you that like a little daily puzzle and you want to pick it up, especially on Switch or Steam Deck, because it's got the touch capabilities, you really can't go wrong with a game like this. Just play 10 minutes every day. It's a good time.
Heck yeah. So it's a
It's
little
like Wordle, but like, furniture puzzle drawer organization.
Yeah,
It's
same thing.
Jordle.
Well, cool. Well, those are 3 games from us. Oh boy, quick little episode, huh? Yeah, little change of pace. So, awesome. We are going to continue playing those games and a whole bunch more. If you'd like to keep up with all that stuff, check out our website and our Discord, discord.gg/partyinviteshow, twitch.tv/partyinviteshow, and our website is partyinvite.games. You can find Sid over on their channel at twitch.tv/obsidianite with a Y, with 2 Y's even. And what else? You can find Vilos writing on the blog. You can see me all over the place, but cool. Yeah, we'll definitely be back next week. Wink. With another.
It's not a false statement.
It's not a false statement. With a new episode using our pre-recorded videos. So catch us on Twitch on Thursday, everywhere else on Friday, and we'll see you all again very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, I didn't even get it out. Bye. There.